Hey gang, before we begin, we have a quick and heartfelt ask. We've launched our fundraiser, our GoFundMe for Pleasure Bound. So if this podcast has supported you or inspired you or even challenged you in some way, we would be deeply grateful for your support. You can find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. Now let's dive into today's episode.
When you talk about our bodies changing, all of us are getting older. And I can it's kind of like a chronic illness to an extent that, my endurance has certainly been better and worse at times in my life where I get out of breath with exertion. And so, you have to adapt. I think that the big takeaway here, I think, is that no apologies needed. That we come as full people and that we want to be loved for who we are and we want to be loved and accepted for our bodies. And that having that with someone else can be really kind of transcendental for whatever that word means to anyone.
All right, y'all, this episode is about loving your own particular brand of weird, about letting your fucking freak flag fly and having the courage to bring it all to the table, the bedroom, the wheelchair, or wherever you find yourself getting freaky. At one point, Jim LeBrecht asked me, what do you mean by bringing your weird to the experience? What does your weird mean to you? And I've been thinking about that ever since. To me, my weird is all the parts of myself that don't fit neatly into a culture that constantly asks us to shrink or hide. It's the parts of us that have been overlooked, judged, or told there's too much. It's our desires, our curiosities, our kinks, our creativity, our tenderness, and our contradictions. It's the parts of ourselves that deserve freedom, pleasure, and maybe a little sexual healing. And that's exactly where this conversation takes us. What unfolds is a beautiful exploration of pleasure, disability, sexuality, activism, and what becomes possible when we tell the truth about who we are. Our guest today is the incomparable Jim LeBrecht, filmmaker, activist, sound design master, music lover, fellow deadhead, lover, and all-around legend. From his role in the disability rights movement and the 504 sit-in, to his groundbreaking work on Crip Camp, to the sound design on my own film, Move Me, Jim has spent a lifetime helping people listen more deeply to stories, to each other, and to themselves. We're so grateful for his vulnerability, his wisdom, his humor, and his willingness to join us as our very first guest. What an honor. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we go. Hello, lovers. Welcome back. OMG. Here with Jim LeBrecht. Ah! Hi, Jim. Thanks for being here. We love you.
Oh, I love you.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. And Kate, we're just getting to know each other. And Kelsey, it's just been wonderful being your friend and your artistic collaborator. And, I did the mix on your film. And it was you did. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. So,
yeah, it was an honor. We're so happy to have you here.
I'm really, this is really funny being here with you because I was telling Kelsey, I listened to the first episode and it was like, God, I wanted to butt in a couple of times. I just felt like this needed, and not all of it was terribly appropriate.
I hope it was inappropriate.
But then what is inappropriate?
Bring on the inappropriate. Huh. I love that you're having a conversation with us while listening.
Yeah.
There's nothing off limits here.
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm desperately lonely. I'll have conversations with, Rachel Maddow.
You will feel seen and loved
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Finally, will I be accepted?
It's here amongst your Crip friends. If you can't feel accepted anywhere, or if you're going to feel accepted anywhere, it better be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Fucking A.
I've been very, very fortunate. And especially with Crip Camp, the documentary I made with Nicole Noonan, that it just like opened up my world. And as Nicole and I have experienced, the reaction to our film has been extraordinary. And
we watched it last night and it was like reopening my heart.
Yeah,
Really?
rewatched
It was
it. Like,
yeah, man. I was like watching you as a little kid and getting so emotional because I think the last time I watched, God, I don't even know if I knew you yet. I can't remember if, yeah, I did because Crip Camp hadn't come out when we met. By the way, when I met Jim LeBrecht, he showed up with a vial of joints for me. Do you remember this?
what a wonderful welcome gift.
Like,
nice to meet
that's
you.
right. Here you
I
were.
know. It
Was that the ITVS gathering? Was that what it was?
No, I think we met before then. I can't even remember. But you show up, I think we were like meeting for dinner or something, and you hand me this file and you're like, here you go, there's a few joints in there. And I was like, I love this man already. He loves the Grateful Dead. Like we'd already like bonded and figured out that we both loved the Dead. And so you show up in probably a tie-dye with some joints for me. And I was like, look at this fucking guy. It was
It's not
perfect.
exactly what I do all the time. But I think that there was something around like, I thought that you were in need, at least when you were in the Bay Area or whatever. So I was just picking it.
Yeah, you were hooking it up.
I was just taking care of you.
That's a good friend.
You were. That is a good friend. Feeling the love, buddy. Okay, so I wanted to start with this. I'm so fucking jazzed you're here right now. I can't believe this. I can't believe you're our first guest. It's just perfect. And you're a sound master, which makes it even like more just aligned. And watching Crip Camp last night, I had this like thought about how sound has shaped your life so much and sort of in this like guiding force, this like really big passion in your life. And it is one of the senses. It is a point of pleasure. It is clearly one for you. And I'm so curious as to like where that passion for sound and where that like pleasure for you comes from. Like, where did that start in your life?
Well, I think we all have kind of an acuity for something, right? And if we're fortunate enough to find it or understand it, and we're an artist, then that's amazing. Like I can't draw to save my life, right? But I've learned how to be a wonderful mixer. I've learned how to be a really good sound designer. And I think that a lot of that has to do with my ability to really concentrate and really just kind of pick things out. And I have got a couple of theories about why I am the way I am. And one of them is that I was born with spina bifida. And I spent a lot of the first 2.5 years of my life in the hospital. And I think that I couldn't see outside the room I was in, but I could hear outside the room. I could hear what was going on in the hallway. And it makes sense to me that would have kind of made me really interested or just really picking up on stuff.
Right. Like you're putting the pieces together through what you're hearing, like from this young age.
Yeah. And look, I can remember, and just talking to you about that, my memory is, of like one of those classic pages in the hospital, but anyway, all I'm saying is that it just evoked a sound in my head. And the other thing is that I think that I have a little bit of dyslexia. or some kind of processing. It's undiagnosed, but I'm the kind of person where, if I ask you your telephone number, you need to tell me really slow. Otherwise, I get lost. And I know, like, I had a friend in college, Terry, who very much was dealing with dyslexia, and she couldn't concentrate to study unless she went to the library with industrial ear protection on. She really just had to block out all the sounds. And I am distractible. Definitely. I remember my wife, Sarah, and I we were like in Manhattan, and I just was kind of like, there was a sound. I got distracted by a brick in a wall. Okay. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
Right, like you're gonna notice that shit
I do notice things.
that maybe other people don't.
I do. And, I don't think it's like a superpower or, what makes me, we are who we are. And, I've learned a lot about different communities underneath this beautiful umbrella of disability. And I've learned, and I've met and become friends with people who are on the autism spectrum. And what I really appreciate about that and what I'm seeing is that people are being accepted just for who they are. It's like, I understand you have a different way of perceiving the world or dealing with it, but it doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just the way that you do it, and you bring so much with you. And I mean, I think that's what we want out of life, is to have variety. And I mean, so
It's a way to teach each other, right? And to like expand how this like element of care comes into play, rather than like we need to be fixed. Like, how can we see each other and care for each other and find value in the differences?
yeah, and look, like, it's really wonderful to be around people, our Crip fam, and that there's a general understanding about things. And, I was talking to somebody about maybe becoming a life coach for me a couple of years ago. And we did a session on Zoom, but they didn't have the transcripts enabled. And I use transcripts, and just in case I get distracted, so I can go back and catch what I just caught. And I asked them to do this, and they said, well, I don't expect you to be distracted. I said, well, this is just part of the way I am. Sometimes I do. And he didn't understand or was really pushing back on me. And I said, well, I can't work with you.
Yeah.
You simply can't work.
Yeah.
And
good for you.
And, it was, anyway, and, it was, kind of the partner of a friend of mine. And so it was a little tough, but it's like, if I'm going to see a doctor in the hospital and somebody rolls into the room, or like when I was in the hospital a while ago and a respiratory therapist came in and they had I could see they had a cochlear implant. That to me, that's a comfort.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're probably going to see me more than that guy clearly did.
Totally.
Because, like, I have to work hard enough already to love myself and to like feel safe and good in this culture, in this society. And so when you make it harder for me, where I have to love myself or to feel seen, then you got to fucking go.
Yeah.
If that's an option.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I set a limit though. Okay. So I said, I said, this isn't going to work for me. And they were asking me to kind of continue, and, and this is part of working together. And I just went, no, I know I just know,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and, we survived it. I've seen him since then, and
That's okay.
it's all right.
Boundaries.
Do you think, boundaries, baby.
Yeah. Well,
It's like one of those things that gets, you probably wouldn't have been able to do that out of the 18-year-old kid,
no, I don't think so. I think yeah, well, I've gotten to a fairly ripe old age here, and I'm as surprised as I mean, I just didn't quite expect that, and so I'm trying.
You didn't expect to get this old,
Yeah.
you mean?
Seriously.
Real talk, yeah.
I mean, both of you have, had your injuries and your hospitalizations, but our bodies are not built for this.
Yeah.
And, but we also try to do the best we can to take care of ourselves, and,
And to have fun.
yes, and have fun and pleasure. I kind of grew up at a time where you were kind of embarrassed for having a disability. And, but like if you saw Crip Camp, going to Camp Jeanette and meeting Judy Heumann and all these other people that were counselors or staff members with disabilities, I started seeing these wonderful role models for me. And I saw how they treated other people with disabilities. And what rubbed off on me was having pride, starting to really develop pride in my identity. And that culturally I identify as somebody with a disability. And it was a long process in my life to be more comfortable about revealing myself and my body. And, that I had an ostomy bag for my pee. And that, and then getting into, winding up being with a lover for me also it was always felt a bit scary at the beginning.
Fuck
Yeah. And
I mean, it's scary for everyone, but it's scarier when you're like, is this okay that I have this? Is this going to be weird or gross? Or like, are they going to still want to hook up with me?
I think that such an aspect of having a disability is the need to continuously prove something and survive. And I feel like both Crip Camp and Move Me, you guys really created, for me at least, representation and a image and a space that brought awareness to the likeness of the humanness of those of us with disabilities or dealing with something on some level. And what you guys shared in Camp Jeanette, felt so fucking special. And the fact that I just wish that existed more in this world. Even the able-bodied counselors that were in that, I didn't know any people with disabilities and they jumped into this experience. But to hear on both sides the way that this deep understanding and genuine care and just it felt like love for one another.
humor has always been really important
Yeah.
to me.
Yes.
And, you break something down in a good way when you can joke about something. or you can, and especially, for us, we're on our disabilities. And so,
Yeah.
I,
We were talking about that with sex and with kink. We were like, I think just last week or something about how, or no, I was like preparing to sleep with the last dude I slept with, who shall not be named. And I was all like, oh my God. Like, I was talking to one of my girlfriends about it, and I was like, fuck, like, is the colostomy bag going to be weird? Like, how do I handle that? Blah, 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 blah. And like, I was like wanting to avoid the weird, right? And finally she was like, no, and Kate was like, no, dude, it's just going to be
And
weird.
you gotta
like,
let it be
let
weird.
it be weird.
Like,
And lean into the weird and let it be funny. Let it be fun. Like, be a human and see what happens.
embrace it.
what both of you, what do you say to your, a new lover? Do you like give them like a, kind of like a roadmap?
I can tell you.
Or what do you, and I'll tell you then what I say.
Okay. So this time around, we had been talking on the phone a lot because we had a long distance thing. And so that was probably the last thing that I ended up sharing with him. And I just said, like, I kind of just broke it to him, like, straight up. I was just like, FYI, I have a colostomy bag. I poop into a bag. And he was so cool about it. And he was actually like, I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because pooping is an uncomfortable thing for me too. And I'm like, how am I going to go into this girl's tiny space and feel comfortable taking a shit? Like, is she going to, it's like a hotel room, like, he's like, is she going to like have to hear me? And da 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 da. And so he just handled it with this humility and grace, and was like, almost was like honored that I'd shared it with him. So I'm grateful that I was, and for him and reacting that way, still seeing me.
What comes to mind to me is that it's like, I've got this bag, but it's that I manage my body. This is what I got here, as opposed to if you were like saying, I'm so sorry, but I have a bag or something, that would just set the whole kind of conversation in a negative way.
Right, like, I'm apologizing for my body, and that's just a sad way to start off that conversation. You don't have to apologize for your body.
Yeah, there is. Here's the deal. There should never be like this standard of what you come to bed with, right? It's
Fucking
okay.
A.
So, we know kind of what normie sex is, but it is it is.
Everyone knows now. We call you guys normies,
Yeah.
just so you know.
So I digress. Just
The jig is
the
up.
jig is up. You ugly normies.
Fucking
So,
normies.
Kate, can you tell me? What do you say?
Yeah. I was in I feel like this has evolved like throughout my disability or my time being disabled. I was in a long-term relationship for 7.5 years, and things got very comfortable, and it wasn't the healthiest relationship, but I was still in a state of like kind of like disassociation with my disability and my body. And so leaving that relationship and being a mom, like my body has changed in more ways. And um, I feel like my disability is just part of the baggage that I have to drop off at the door to a potential partner. And I don't say baggage as like a bad thing. I think we all have different shit that we carry, right? But I have to like explain that like I can't physically get out of my chair and into bed. Like I need help getting into bed. I need help getting my clothes off. I am very adventurous and want to experiment in so many ways. And so I think with my last partner, like that was more of the conversation of like, okay, like in what ways can you move? In what ways can I help move you that are not going to like hurt you or cause any harm? And that was really just like fun exploration with my previous partner. I've also had suitors or whatever you want to call them react really poorly, and that be like a absolute no. Like, okay, yeah, I just don't think I can handle that, which
Mhm.
hurts to hear, but also fully understandable. And yeah, like I think I need to hear those things because sometimes I don't know that I even fully see them until I hear someone's reaction about them. And then like a lot of times it's like, damn, that was crunchy, but like also that's just a part of me. And like if it's not for someone, then that's okay.
It's almost like this, like, I mean, there's so many layers there, but it's almost like good. Like, if this is the thing that keeps you from wanting to be intimate with me,
Totally.
then this is a good thing that this is ending now. Because you would inevitably, let's be real, you would inevitably hurt me and piss me off and do some stupid shit later that would be worse because I'd be probably more into you or attached to you in some way.
Totally. Like one of my girlfriends, I mean, I've shared on this show, Jim, I have HSV, and one of my girlfriends explained that she views hers as her protector, like that it has exited certain relationships, like, or just ended before it even got into bed. Um, and she's like, but then I view down the line, like how many ways that relationship was not for me. And I feel that about my
Yeah.
disability. I feel that about my STD. I feel that about my parental status.
It does weed out some of the douchebags
Yeah.
who really just want to fuck you, you know, who really just want to take things from you. A lot of people just want to consume you for whatever it is that you're able to give them or help them hide from, or and it's not so much giving and receiving as much as it is like you're at least I felt this way a lot. You're like exploited for pleasure or to like validate someone or to what, there's so many ways that happens. And I think that unveiling of disability can be really sensual and sexy. Like I've had a partner where it was like this really hot moment on the couch where he was like wondering what I could feel and what I couldn't feel.
Love
And so
that
he's
game.
like, it's such a fun game. Like I was like, it's great. I was like,
It's not like,
great. Yeah.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now? Can you feel me now? Can you feel me now?
But like way less annoying.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But it's like, how does that feel? How does this, what's this? Like, and you realize like, oh, this is a fun, playful, sensual exploration. It's kinky. It's vulnerable. It's playful. So like that whole unveiling can either be like, can be so many things. It can be crunchy. It can be like, oh God, brace yourself. And it can also be super erotic.
Yeah, I feel like when it's received well.
Yeah, and when you can play and like allow the weird, like we were talking about, like when you allow the weird and get curious, it's playful and like exciting and fun.
Yeah.
Well, can you define the weird for me?
I mean, that's a good question. I think the weird is different for everybody. Because so much of like being into someone is like, does your weird match my weird? Are you my brand of weird?
I feel like everybody's got a different thing, a different type, a different turn off, a different turn on.
But I think
Right.
in this context, it's like you have the weird is like It's like the awkwardness, the unknown, the like unpredictable, the parts of being human that are like not all smooth and like seemingly sexy and palatable and easy. It's like let your freak flag fly and see what happens.
Yeah.
Letting go, trusting.
What do you think of when you think of the weird?
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of if that is very close to kink or not. But, I think proclivity or whatever. So,
What is proclivity?
like the thing that you really like the most, or what you're really kind of into.
Jim, I want to circle back. I want to know how you approach or have approached partners in the past.
Well, I would tell them that I have this bag on the side of my body and it, clicks P, and that I don't, I have very little feeling in my genitals.
Yeah.
So I don't get erections. I can with, I've experimented with things like the injections and stuff, and that does work for me. And that, but that, I have some, and but there are areas right around there that are very sensitive, and that, a mouth on my, I guess it would be like on my hip.
Yeah.
In that area, just, it's really, really sensitive, especially, because I don't have any feeling like kind of like below the hips. So occasionally there's these things where all of a sudden, well, I'm feeling something because they're touching an area before that I couldn't feel. But I think it is I think it's using a bit of visualization on my part. Like, having someone's hand or mouth there, just knowing that that's happening to me is really, erotic's not the right, it's
Arousing.
arousing.
Yeah.
Very arousing. And, I've always really, feel like one of my, erogenous zones or whatever is my mouth. I just, and like for a lot of us, our neck, our mouth, my nipples,
Yeah.
and that,
Mhm.
and it, so it's always a little bit scary to kind of talk about this at first. But I've never had anybody say, I don't think I can do this. And I've thought about this conversation before we were going to be for the last couple of days, and really kind of asking myself really what gets me off, or what is, if I'm not feeling, my penis, so where am I getting my pleasure?
Mhm.
And I think it's two different things. One of them is the fact that I love being able to bring a woman to orgasm.
Mm.
And
Yeah, Jim.
there's a lot of different ways to do that. Fortunately I have a good upper body strength, but going down on a woman and really learning, it just takes, when I was younger, I was kind of like a stupid boy like everybody else was, but, certainly learned, but it is just kind of feeling that and doing that to me really, I guess, this is, now I'm really off the top of my head here. I feel like it compensates for the fact that I'm not, feeling my penis or doing penetration with my penis.
Mm-hmm.
That there's something about it that feels like I was going to say still a man. No, that's not the point. But that I'm a capable lover. I'm a good lover. And I think part of it certainly is that it's I get my pleasure out of pleasuring someone else.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a big part of it.
Oh my gosh. And we've touched on that here, like being able to give that and also receive pleasure in different ways than we were taught that pleasure should be felt. Like strictly penis and vagina. Like there's so many other ways to do that. And then, I mean, I don't know if we've actually touched on this, Kels, but I think we have in a roundabout way, like the fact that we do have like I like can't feel my vagina in the normal sense, but I can like feel penetration and I respond to a lot of clit play, but like clit doesn't do it for me these days. And I have my left nipple though, like I could get off straight on that. And
Yeah.
it's so wild the way that the body expresses new areas, just as you spoke to sound, like and visuals. Like I use mirrors a lot. And I think adding that to the experience really does make this wild experience.
Kate has mirrors on the ceiling. Kate's a fucking pro.
I do.
Wow,
it helps me see.
That's great. I get it. That's wonderful.
Like, it's not because I'm like this awesome Vegas fucking person, but it helps me see.
Vegas person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there for so many reasons. And one of them, like to see your caregivers, to see how your body is moving, to witness your body, to like love your body, for mirror work, and for sexy time. Like you said, that visual, all the other senses I feel like are so heightened for me now. Where like, I mean, like using the Dipsea app, this erotic app.
I
like,
woke myself up with that.
Yeah, dude, like I had a hands-free orgasm with that, just listening.
Oh yeah.
Like that's
what the hell are we talking about here?
I know, he's like, I gotta write it down.
Dipsea. We'll share it with you. Dipsea. It's an app.
It's like erotic.
There's a
audiobooks.
Scottish dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Scotsman woke me up this morning and it was really
Scotsman,
great.
dude. The Scotsman built me a fucking bookshelf and then had his way with me. Yeah. I was like, this motherfucker's coming in here. Like, that's like a Michael Jordan comeback. He's like coming in here, making me a shelf for my books. Like,
talk dirty
surprise,
to me.
Baby. Welcome home. I just made this bookshelf for you. And now I'm going to eat you and then fuck you from behind while you watch in the mirror. I was like, damn. Okay.
Fantasies are real.
Yes,
thing.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always imagined, well, look, I'm going to lean into the microphone for our listeners out there.
Yes.
But there is like, was ASMR is an interesting thing, but it's also just, I think to be able to be really close to your lover's ear and put your tongue in there, or to just, whisper.
Yeah, the sound of their breath. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is, that'll work.
That'll work. That'll do.
In fact, Jim. I'm going to record some sound files now and sell them on on Etsy. So
Yes. I think you've got the voice for it, Jim.
I love that Etsy is your choice, your platform of choice.
SoundCloud. Okay, SoundCloud. Etsy.
I
Oh
just
my
feel
God.
this so much better.
good.
I know. All of our quad laughs and Jim's cackle. Jim's awesome cackle.
Yeah, wait.
Oh my God.
Jim, this might be like a really ignorant question, but we call ourselves quads. What does someone with SP, is that like the nickname or?
Well, you're a para, right?
Yeah, I'm a paraplegic. So,
Okay.
and with spina bifida, it has really a wide range of effects on your body, and so it's kind of where the lesion was on my back.
Okay.
Kind of is where, so it's my lower spine, and I got to tell you that area back there, like, it's so ticklish.
Really?
And
Like right on your sensation level, you mean?
well, it's just kind of
Or
like
line?
I first time when I saw an X-ray of the bones in my lower back, it looked like, somebody had kind of almost as I was still an egg or not an egg, but just
Like
looked like a little bit of a spiral in there. It just things didn't quite
Whoa.
form right. But I know, like, I have a strap I use to hold my bag, and I usually put a cloth around it and Sarah sometimes really helps me put the cloth in there. But if she touches the middle of my back where that is, it's like I jump. But it's so intense that I've never thought of whether I could take that intensity and to turn it into anything pleasurable. It was like too much tickling.
Right.
That's
an interesting thought. Because of brain plasticity, you wonder, like, if I were to, like, investigate this further, would it possibly change? I mean, I know that's, like, what I think about with exploration of pleasure is, like, what happens in your brain the deeper you dive in. Like, how has that changed for you from the time you were, like, 18 or however old you were when you first hooked up with someone to now? Like, are there places you find pleasure you didn't before? Or like, yeah, I'm curious about like what you've discovered along what's been like.
Well, I mean, I think what I did discover was that if I was getting stimulated in these places, like, my down by my pelvis, or that I could actually get just mentally, I could get more and more aroused, and that I eventually could get to a place where it felt as if I was coming. That I felt like, or like it just hit a peak, and it was like, oh, that's good enough. That's
Yes. Yeah.
I'll take this, and so it does call for a certain amount of creativity and suspending, just kind of just focusing on that you're feeling this, and it and really just trying to let it in a way that it does make your breath go faster and your blood starts pumping more. But it is the closest I've really ever experienced to an ejaculation, which I just don't do. But I,
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Is that spot on your sensation line? Because I hear this a lot from people with paralysis, people like us, where your new erogenous zone, or one of them, happens like right along that line.
Yeah, well, it's close to it, that's for sure. But also, there's other parts of my body that feel good, like nipples.
Yeah.
And also, part of it, I think, again, getting back to our mind, or is just realizing, this stimulation feels good, but you've got this lover with you who's doing this on you, for you, to give to you.
Mhm.
And if you also, I believe, focus on that as well, my heart is pounding right now telling you this shit.
I love that.
Yeah, really. Woof.
That's the magic. And like,
Fuck yeah.
I feel like it's wonderful to hear that from the man's perspective, because like I think we touched on it in one of the episodes about like, I had said, well, like if I don't come, then like I feel like I didn't get there. But like that is so not true. Actually, like I find so much pleasure in just having someone like giving to me. And like I too find pleasure in watching my partner feel pleasure due to the experience that we're sharing. So I
Mhm.
love that even without an ejaculation, like you are still enjoying that experience and do have your own version of getting off.
And look,
Mhm.
I mean, and part of this is communication, especially with someone who's a new lover.
Yeah.
Say, this feels good, this feels good. And
That curiosity element is huge.
mm,
I feel like there's this this thing that happened after or that happens like with disability where it almost like allows for more intimacy because of this like real need to like know someone's body that's like very different than yours. Like if people are like used to fucking able-bodied people or non-disabled people, I think a lot of the like elements of like curiosity go out because there's just all this like familiarity. And so it's almost like you lose the like element of mystery in a way.
mm.
Like it can sometimes be just assumed like, okay, we're gonna go straight for the fucking, or like at least I feel like this can be more of an invitation because you're like, how do you work?
It makes me,
How do
I
you
makes,
tick?
it makes me feel like there's an intentionality that one needs to have when it's not like the same old, non-disabled body.
Right.
And so you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
But that
Investigate.
exploration, but pardon, say it again.
Like it's an investigation, as it should be with
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
That exploration is, I could see how that is, pretty fabulous. I've only been with well uh, with women that had sensation throughout their body.
Okay.
So and if I imagine, well, I'm a curious guy. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine, that I can see where that that can be really fun and playful and really, really good. But I think my point was that it calls for just not doing the same old,
Yeah.
but to
Yeah.
really kind of be centered and present and intentional about what's happening. And then, if you've been with somebody for a while, then it becomes a little bit less of a exploration and more like I know what feels good for me and for my lover.
Mhm.
I feel like that is something that I yearn for right now. As much as I say like, oh wow, I don't know that I actually see myself in like a 20-year relationship ever. Um, I yearn for someone to know my body like in a way that like I don't have to fucking tell you what to do. I feel like we do that so much as people with disabilities, instruct and direct someone how to care, tend, provide, whatever. And I think it's the same concept of like me before paralysis wanted a man to fucking take me. Like, just fucking take me. And
Yeah.
like, I want to get lost in that. And I think that, yeah, bits of me still want that.
Fuck yeah. I feel like I want both. I want it all. I'm so greedy. I want like,
Be greedy, babe.
you know, like I want that
But damn it,
intimacy.
you deserve it all.
Thanks, bud.
Yes.
Love you.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen.
You bring it. You bring it.
Like I want that intimacy and that familiarity and that safety and comfort. Like there's so much more, especially as a woman, that like can open up for you, pleasure wise, when you have that sense of security and safety with someone, and this like, you know, the ability to receive just like blooms, right?
Yeah.
And I also want the mystery. That's what I think like disability has taught me to lean into more, is that there can always be this element of mystery, because even though we might really deeply know someone's body, you know, we might have been with them for 5, 10, 20 years, like this, like, I think it's generous, and like, I think there's this generosity in giving someone the element of mystery that you're just always still discovering them. And like, because our bodies are always changing, you know?
And
We're
are
not
we?
just gonna, we just as human beings. And that's really exciting and fun too, that you could have like the safety, the comfort, the familiarity, and the like allowance that you are an ever evolving, expansive being. And that shit's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, when you talk about our bodies changing, you know, all of us are getting older, and I can just it's kind of like a chronic illness to an extent that, you know, my endurance has certainly been better and worse at times in my life where I get out of breath with exertion. And so, you know, you have to adapt. You know, I think that the big takeaway here, I think, is that no apologies needed, that we come as full people, and that we want to be loved for who we are, and we want to be loved and accepted for our bodies, and that having that with someone else can be really kind of transcendental, for whatever that word means to anyone, you know. And I'm really getting that from talking to you, Kate. I'm really getting, you know, that those thoughts that I get it. I really get it. And I don't know whether, you know, I've only had a, anyway, I all I have to say is that I tend not to look in mirrors like in stores and stuff, and I don't see myself unless it's, you know, I have seen photographs, and I remember at one point years ago, I kind of saw myself, and I kind of went, I really, like, hats off to these women I've been with, because my body ain't like everybody else's body. It is really looks different. And I didn't find myself at that particular moment very attractive. I was kind of, it pushed me back for a moment. And I think about that at times, but it's also kind of like useless to think or obsess about that. I am just who I am. And it's more like I just don't see myself that often.
I think that that's like a very normal thing. Like, I mean, we just touched on mirror work the other day, Kelsey and I, and she said, I don't even think I have a full length mirror. And it really has been, I mean, I had to be intentional as fuck about this because I did not see myself as the girl in the wheelchair. And so I did not see myself as the girl in the wheelchair. And so I had ableist thoughts. I had ableist ideals like about my own being that I was not this girl anymore. And the vulnerability in that like was a lot for me. And then to then be loved as that girl was earth shattering to me. Like, I mean, explosive and so beautiful and profound. And you said so much in what you just said. Like, I think it takes us to be able to see ourselves. We're always going to have those moments of like, wow, I'm not this or I'm not that. But like, I hope you've also had moments to view yourself as the fucking rock star that you are, because you are, and so beautiful in so many ways. And yeah, just the way that you express and create and exist is pure magic in this world. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Amen.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
Really does. Thank you.
I'm curious about this Camp Jeanette experience. Like, I remember you saying in the film before you went that you hadn't seen a lot of people like you. And then you get here and you meet Nancy. And oh my God, you guys are so cute.
My
I love
first
that
girlfriend.
Oh my God, and I love that she calls you Jimmy. I'm sad because I want to go see Jimmy. Everyone got crabs. Like, can we just talk about that
Well,
for a second? Who brought the crabs?
No. 2 counselors had gone across the street from the camp at an abandoned house and screwed around. And they got crabs from that. And in basically some campers were going to be going home within like a week. And Larry, our hole digger, the head of the camp, decided that everybody needed to wash with Quell shampoo, and that we needed to wash all the sheets and towels and everything, because people are sharing towels and combs and all sorts of other things. So it didn't spread to the campers, and but yeah, no, I didn't have crabs. And
Did you and Nancy hook up?
We didn't hook up. Like, we didn't actually sleep together until outside of camp. And I think she was at school at, I don't know if it was Hofstra or LIU or something, but we did there. So,
Do you think Camp Jeanette was like this big part of, I love how you say no, about like this idea of no apologies for your body. It reminds me of Sonya Renee Taylor's book, The Body Is Not an Apology. Have you read that?
So
No.
good.
Which actually that line or her title of her book came from a story that her friend with CP shared with her about how she opted to not use a condom with a dude she was sleeping with because she felt like making him do that was like one more like point against her because she had CP, because she's bringing her disability into the room. And so she felt like she had something to apologize for already. So making him wear a condom was too much. And she ends up getting an STD, and she tells Sonya Renee Taylor the story, and Sonya Renee Taylor says, your body's not an apology. And like hearing you say that, just it's so something I wish I would have heard the day after right away, like upon acquiring a disability.
Look, I just want to say that you don't come out of the you don't come out of the box just like being yeah, there's a Freudian term right there. Like acquiring a disability and feeling okay about your body.
Fuck no.
And look, and also growing up with a disability. It's and so, if the three of us are feeling pretty, we're talking about really being self-accepting. There are days when I would guess that the three of us don't have that very strongly.
For sure.
I mean, am I right?
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
They're minutes, they're moments in any given day, or
There's
Well, you know
days,
there are days, Kate.
Oh yeah, there's days, there's weeks that I don't feel great about myself.
Yeah.
I think that we're supposed to like present like out in the world that like, hey, everything is good. I'm rolling around in this fancy quantum chair and
I got it figured out.
There's this whole thing about talking about overcoming one's disability.
Oh, whoa.
And like, that's the goal. And that's bullshit.
Such bullshit.
And it really is. And I have my dear friend Lawrence Carter Long, who we were talking years ago, and we were discussing a kind of some like a catchphrase or a law, it's some kind of thing for the film Crip Camp, and we originally were doing not overcoming, becoming.
That is the fucking word of the year, dude. This word keeps coming up.
Becoming, yeah.
Becoming.
Well, we also, as it turns out, right around that, shortly thereafter, Mrs. Obama came out with her book, Becoming, and look, we were so freaking fortunate with this film that we were taken on by the Obama's production company, Higher Ground. So just kind of went, well, we'll come up with something else. But but for my birthday years ago, Nicole printed up a T-shirt that said Crip Camp, not overcoming, becoming. And it's really faded now, but it's like my favorite shirt.
I love that.
Just the other day, somebody on, I think it was LinkedIn, messaged me and they said, look, I'm autistic. I'm very much a disability advocate, but was talking about how Crip Camp had affected their life, but that there was this pressure. They live in Brazil, and like this pressure to like overcome or your disability, and I so appreciated that, and there is this pressure to like that your disability doesn't matter,
or that your disability makes you not matter.
Well, that's the other side of the coin, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's this like, it feels like when you're able to really embody that of not needing to overcome, it's like a fucking dropping a box of rocks.
Well, I think I talk about this in the film that when I was in college, I didn't want help from anybody, and but I was, it was really difficult rolling around this campus that had two different levels. And when I finally realized I needed help, I literally felt a weight lift off my shoulders.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah. It's like this this like combination of saying yes to yourself, which is really powerful. Like no, I don't need to try to overcome in this moment.
It didn't feel like a failure
Right.
to me. It just, I was putting all this pressure on myself to be independent and not need. And it's like, and there's certain circumstances that, I don't want people to help me. Or I remember being like at the game developers conference and I was like we had a little break and I was like getting coffee or something and somebody like started helping me or pushing me. And I said, stop.
Whoa.
And basically it's because I don't want people I'm trying to get work at this conference. I don't want people to think that I'm not self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, there's a line. There's a line between like agency and overcoming.
right. Now, somebody shouldn't just touch your chair and start pushing you. But let me say, if I did need help, it should be out of someone asking me if I would like some help and engaging with them in that regards.
Right.
Or
like, hey, can you help me for a sec?
Yeah, I don't want people to think that there's something wrong if you do need help. And with the story I'm telling here.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
But there's a way to go about it.
I wish that there was just less shame on the need for help. Like we've had this conversation. Because like we as humans, we need connection. We need each other to survive. And I think we've just existed within this society where like, you must be strong, you must be independent for you to be valuable to the team. But like, it is definitely okay to need help and to be strong enough to receive that help when that's the best option for you.
Jim, you're an angel. Thank you so much for being here. This is knowing you has really deeply impacted me and how I see myself as a person with a disability and my work. And I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that you're my friend. And just, it's such an honor to have you on here. And I just adore you.
Well, I love you very much. And it's been, you're one of my buds,
Mm-hmm.
And there are times you and I really talk about some real shit together, and I need that. And but I think you're kick ass, totally, and I so appreciate you. And Kate, I've appreciated getting to know you a bit better, but I wish we all lived like right next door to each other.
Me too.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I don't want the conversation to end, and I'm just so grateful for all the ways that you show up and shared with us. Thank you.
I think this really gave me something. I'm very sincere about that. I haven't talked about the intimate aspects of my life ever publicly outside of what I revealed in Crip Camp.
Wow.
But I felt fairly safe with the two of you. And I think that comes down to knowing that that this conversation is something that I also just believe people can benefit from. I think that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
And but I'm really disappointed that I have to stop. I could keep going.
It's
So
okay.
maybe you'll bring me back again if the numbers are good, if we get a good reaction. Can I come back some other time and play with y'all?
You can come back and play with us.
Yes,
I agree.
please.
I think that's totally why we have these conversations. And so we really, to impact, it informs our journey, and we hope that it impacts other people. And so we really appreciate your vulnerability and everything you shared. We love you.
Yeah.
All right. I love you both.
Oh, we love you so much. And everyone look forward to part 2, Jim LeBrecht.
Yeah, because he'll be back.
A ramp too far.
All right, you sexy humans, that's a wrap for this episode of Pleasure Bound. Go forth, be tender with yourself, and push your edges a little. If you liked what you heard, subscribe, share, or leave us a review so more humans can get a taste of this messy, magical journey. And if you want to go deeper, join our Substack for all the extra goodies that are waiting for you. We'll see you there, always learning to feel more alive.